Inject the farmer hate straight into my veins.
At the end of this month, parts of the 2018 Farm Bill are set to expire. It has been extended twice, but that would mean that many farmers won't see any federal dollars until President Trump's so-called Big Beautiful Bill kicks in late next year. And this is happening at the same time that many U.S. farmers are warning that they are reaching a breaking point as unpredictable weather, rising costs, and fallout from Trump's tariffs are impacting their bottom line.
This is not your ordinary farm crisis. We call it farmageddon.
And if they don't do something, there's going to be some farmers that ain't going to be around next year.
We're joined now by the founder and president of the National Black Farmers Association.
Jesus Christ. I'm looking at a comic book character.
Association, John Boyd Jr. Sir, thanks so much for being with us.
Jesus Christ. I feel like he looks like 50 actors all rolled into one. That's crazy. Black Chuck Norris. Yeah, no, seriously.
What are you hearing from farmers about what they're going through right now?
Well, you know, this is the worst time since the 80s, and I was farming in the 80s, you know, where farmers were going out of business.
I should note, by the way, he looks incredibly cool. I feel like we could all work to match his aura.
Farm foreclosures are on the rise. Farm suicides are on the rise. Farm bankruptcies are on the rise. And this is a bad time in this country for American agriculture and America's farmers. The president's tariffs are putting farmers out of business. These are very low commodity prices. You know, I watched the president's interview yesterday. He touted how great the markets were doing, and but the markets aren't doing well for America's farmers. Corn, wheat, and soybeans are all down. It's harvest time, and we haven't gotten any orders from China to purchase soybeans from farmers. And we need answers from the administration on what they can do to help America's farmers now. You just talked about the big, beautiful bill. They really haven't provided any assistance.
I do feel bad for him. Well, unlike the white farmers that come on, it's far more likely he didn't vote for Trump, just demographically speaking. So that's how CNN's trying to make us feel bad. They're like, all right, our libtard audience is not conditioned to be supportive of the white farmers. Okay, we need to diversify.
For America's farmers, and I heard the Agriculture Secretary say this week that farmers could get money from tariffs. I haven't seen any money from the president's tariffs, just poor markets. And every time the president says tariffs, the markets go down, and countries begin to run away from from American agriculture.
Yeah, I wonder because during the first Trump administration, specifically on soybeans, in response to dwindling international demand, the administration put out subsidies.
Man in cowboy hats always look try hard, but most of the time when you see a guy in a cowboy hat, it's like a Texan or an Oklahoman, like a fat little doughboy who looks like you could tip him down a hill and he would roll forever, you know? At least this guy looks like he was carved out of clay. Like, I'm just saying, like, wearing a cowboy hat confers a certain degree of, I don't know, there's like a certain energy that you're trying to live up to. And I think that most people don't hit it, and this guy does look like Chuck Norris. So, you know, I'm just
to try to help soybean farmers. Have you heard anything from the administration about something like that coming soon?
Absolutely nothing. The first Trump administration, paid out $23 billion in the program called the Market Facilitation Program. But what was ironic about that, that $28 billion didn't really provide any relief for America's black farmers. You know, we're pretty much left out of that equation. And what the president is doing different this time that he didn't do last time is he doesn't care. He's hurting all farmers now. He's treating us all the same. So that's something he said he was going to do. Now, all farmers are doing bad now under this administration. The first time the president imposed tariffs on China, I was selling soybeans at $16.80 a bushel by the time.
Holy shit. Isn't it down to like $4 or $5 a bushel now or something? What is it being sold for?
Time the President Trump left office, it was less than $8 a bushel. And the markets never really came back. So what the point I'm trying to make here is the tariffs didn't work the first time the president imposed them. And I don't think that they're going to help us now. And I don't believe that they're going to provide any resources for America's farmers.
It's so f***ed up that this is being framed as a bad thing. It's literally, we are producing so much food that the price is being driven down below break even. Like, it's like the obvious, in any rational world, the obvious solution to this is, oh, okay, so this is like an essential pillar of existence on Earth that should not be subject to market forces, you know? You're just going to, like, be flatly compensated for this work. But nope, we have to keep doing this insane, like government buyback shit in order to keep these industries afloat while food is, like, cheaper than it ever has been before in some industries.
So what happens now in this sort of gap as the Farm Bill expires and you have to wait until some of the allocations from the Big Beautiful Bill to kick in next year?
Well, we need members of Congress to start fighting, especially.
The price is lower because China's not buying anymore. Yeah, but that's still insane, right? That's like what, like, a country can't have a profitable, successful domestic agriculture business because other, like, countries aren't buying. Like, you're producing so much soy that your own country is saturated with it, and that somehow leads to the collapse of the soy farming industry. It's insane. Like, obviously overproduction isn't desirable. You should have, like, accommodations for fluctuations. You can't immediately switch what you're using your farmland for. But, like, man, it's just f***ed up that we have to run through this, you know?
Democrats are too quiet here, and they letting the president just run him over like a Mack truck. And
this isn't wrong, by the way. Democrats could gain a lot of political favor by, like, really aggressively campaigning with farmers. Like, go up to every, like, the Nebraskan Democrats, go up to your farmers and go, hey, who's hurting your prices right now? Say into the microphone. Just, like, you could really be milking this, but of course they're not, because Democrats don't believe in politics. They don't believe in democracy.
Here today is they should get up and fight back. You know, and you know, we haven't had a farm bill in quite some time, and the country is running off a continuous resolution here. And what this administration has done is taking our programs that I fought for about 40 years to get programs called Social Disadvantaged Farmers Resources and grants to help America's Black and other farmers of color. This administration wants to do away with all of those things and help large-scale, white farmers in this country. And what he did was he says, we're going to do away with anything that has to do with Black, but we're going to bring white farmers in from South Africa solely based on race. And then we're going to ship out the people who are doing the work here. You know, the Hispanic community that's doing really hard work that many Americans don't want to do.
There is nothing I would love more than for South African whites to be made farmhands in America. I just want to make that clear. That would be like racial reparations, the likes of which John Brown could only dream of. Oh my God. That would be so funny. Yeah, we're going to make American farming anti-woke. Rather than having all these blacks and browns working in the industry, we're going to bring white South Africans over. Isn't that based in trad? Meanwhile, 2 years later, white South Africans... At least the white guy's doing this. Oh my God, in their silly little accents, they're like fake Dutch accents. Oh my God, it would unironically be like that MLK looking over the black slave master with the whip meme, you know?
They want to put them out the country, and it was the wrong thing to do. People from the inner city are not going to come in and pick tomatoes and onions and harvest cabbage and tobacco, people. It's the wrong thing, and they're taking American...
Like, being a farmhand sucks. There's a reason why we get illegals to do it, because they get underpaid and they can't go to the cops ever, because if they do, they get deported. Like, it sucks so much. It sucks so unbelievably. It sucks everywhere in the world, not just in America. Everywhere on Earth, every country on Earth, being a farmhand sucks. Everywhere. Sometimes you get these, like, these nice op-eds or whatever from people who work as a farmhand on, like, a bee farm, like they're making artisanal honey or whatever. That shit's bullshit. 99% of farmhands, it's like the hardest job in the world, and it always has been for all of human history, okay? It sucks. I'm not saying that means that, like, illegals should do it. I'm saying that the white land-owning caste of America is so stupid they don't realize how easy they've had it all this time. They have profited from a system in which their workforce is borderline slaves, right? And they're throwing that away. They're throwing that away because they're too racist. It's like when you're so racist, you don't even want to do slavery. It's insane.
Agriculture in the wrong direction this administration is.
John Boyd Jr., thank you so much for the time and for sharing your perspective. Appreciate you.
Did you just call them illegals? I'm not going to lie. I feel like it's like the African-American thing to me. I feel like you signal greater support when you just use whatever terminology, but with fire in your heart. You know what I mean? The undocumented immigrant stuff, sometimes the like mandate to use that terminology sounds to me like when people say like, oh, it's not homeless, they're unhoused people. And it's like, what the f are you talking about, lady? Nobody knows what the f that shit means, okay? It's homeless. Everyone says homeless, you know? I don't know, whatever. It's not important. You can say whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Words don't matter. Give me that CNBC bullshit. I'm not done.
We worry about drought. We worry about pricing. We worry about equipment. We worry about financing. This tariff is just another thing.
Todd Western III. Yeah, dude. You only get names like this out there in the sticks.
That we have to worry about.
Todd Western III is a soybean farmer in Waterloo, Iowa. He says trade tensions between the U.S. and China are fueling uncertainty for his business. China, the world's largest buyer of soybeans, hasn't pre-purchased any soybeans for the upcoming U.S. harvest.
Heard about this.
The revenue on our farm is just like any other farm. It's volatile.
Here, I think this is mostly talking about the mechanics. I want to watch right-wingers bitch about the consequences of their actions.
The number of American farmers struggling to stay afloat is on the rise. Family farm.
And while the support in the Big Beautiful Bill is welcome, that doesn't necessarily address those longer-term issues.
Two major issues central to President Trump's policy agenda are pushing up these farmers' expenses: tariffs and immigration. The president's tariffs have caused disruption in the ag industry before. President Trump launched a trade war with China in his first term. That decreased.
I want to be more vindictive than this. I need to be more vindictive than this. I need to, like, stoke the fire in my heart.
Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for coming on.
What the hell, Steven?
Paul, I'll start with you. You are in the festival's backyard. You're in Minnesota. For those who aren't familiar with Farm Aid, explain to me what it is and why it's so important for farmers like yourself.
Sure. Farm Aid is, by and large, a festival bringing the arts and agriculture together. And it's a fundraiser as well. And so a lot of the proceeds generated through Farm Aid are distributed to organizations throughout the country that
Connecticut to D.C. I'm told you're on your...
I don't give a shit about this. Maybe I'm not feeling that vindictive today.
As the Trump administration continues to keep too late for...
Well, we depend on the Chinese market. And the reason we depend so much on this market is China consumes 61% of soybeans produced worldwide. The rest of the world is 39%. Of the soybeans in
Those are all
American...
the tofu, right? I'm actually asking, is it because China just consumes a huge amount of tofu? What are they using all that soy for? A lot of different stuff is made from soybean. No, I know that. I'm wondering, like, what is there, like, a particular food that, like, eats up a huge amount of the... They use it for their pigs and stuff? Why do they use soybeans for their pig feed, but we use, like, other foods?
Farmers produce 25% currently have been going to China. And right now we have zero sold for this crop that's starting to be harvested right now. So it's a 5-alarm fire for our industry that 25% of our total sales is currently missing. And right now we are not price competitive with Brazil due to the retaliatory tariffs that are in place. Our prices are about 20% higher, and that means that the Chinese are going elsewhere because they can find a better value. And the American soybean farmers and their families are suffering. There's 500,000 of us that produce soybeans.
500,000.
And we desperately need markets, and we need opportunity, and we need a level playing field. So
China doesn't have that much arable land. Yeah, it's the reason why they grow so much rice, right? Like, rice is growable in types of environments you couldn't, because you, like, flood rice fields. You have those, like, wet kind of, like, lowlands that you can grow rice in really easily, but you can't do, like, you couldn't grow, like, wheat there, you know? The paddies, yeah. 80% of youth produce feed. It is insane. Like, legitimately, if we just stopped doing animal agriculture and all became vegan, we could use, like, 10% of the Earth's surface for agriculture, and the rest of it we could just jerk off in. It's crazy how much of the Earth's surface we use to keep billions of cows and pigs in torture pens. It's crazy.
We can compete because we grow a great product, but we have to be price competitive as well. And there's an artificial barrier that is built with these tariffs that makes us not be competitive.
And Caleb, you are out, in the equipment right there. We can see that you're up there. You're talking about harvesting is happening right now. Once your crops are harvested, what is going to happen to all of that supply?
Well, the concern is that prices will continue to drop in certain areas of the country that have higher transportation costs. The basis has dropped to record low levels. Right now,
also, like, this market probably isn't coming back, right? My guess is that prior to these tariffs, the only reason we were price competitive with Brazil was because we have superior farming technology. We've probably made our farming more efficient, but they have lower wages. So inevitably, as they catch up and take advantage of the fact that China's just buying from them right now, they are going to underprice us, and they're going to stay there, you know?
Chicago price is a little over $10 for a bushel of soybeans, but there's places in North Dakota where the basis is $1.70 under the market. So their soybeans are only worth a little over $8. And cost of production for a bushel of soybeans varies farm to farm, but it's around $12 per bushel. And soybean farmers are going to experience huge losses this year. The farm economy is already struggling due to many factors, including high cost of production, which tariffs are impacting as well. And we just need a level playing field.
I just cannot believe people think it's normal for these vital, demand inflexible industries to be subject to price demand control. Okay, imagine that imagine you have like a big robust medical system with lots and lots of doctors who get paid well because they have lots of clients and patients and stuff like that. And then one year we have like an abnormally healthy year. Maybe a new drug comes out, some revolutionary new drug, something on the like something like penicillin, right? Something that just revolutionizes human health. And for that year and every year forward, the amount of demand for medical care drops significantly. And as a consequence, the medical industry collapses and all these hospitals go bankrupt and there are foreclosures and a bunch of people move out of the field and you lose valuable expertise and everything. And then you end up having this whiplash effect where as a consequence of something that should be treated as a good, the industry collapses around it. All of which could be avoided if the government was simply paying these people's salaries and the government would slowly decrease the amount of investment to match what is necessary in the new world.
A free market to work, and American farmers are great at producing, but we don't need these barriers out of our control put up that make us uncompetitive.
Aren't other countries like this though? In farming? Kind of. Different countries have different like incentives for production and disincentives for overproduction. Like the problem is that America does it in a brain dead market based way. So for example, right, the dairy industry, the US government buys cheese. There's like a flat rate at which the US government will buy cheese. If you make cheese, the government will buy your cheese. The government wants your dairy, okay? And the reason we do this is because like a million years ago, the government was like, we can't let our precious dairy farmers go out of business. We need to buy their cheese. So for some reason now, the American government literally has a cheese vault. We literally have like great vaults of cheese where we take the cheese and we put it in the mountains to hide the cheese so that we can keep buying the cheese from the farmers, rather than having a sane system where we just pay the amount of dairy farmers that we need to fulfill society's needs or whatever. Instead, it's like, if you're a dairy farmer, don't worry, no matter how much demand drops for dairy, the government is always there to buy the cheese. I think we used to. The cheese vault is all now used up. Well, you know why the cheese vault is all used up? Because of a big government, like a public-private partnership to incentivize its use. Why do you think every kid in school gets like a milk carton? There's a video on this from Climate Town. Like, one of the reasons why the Got Milk campaign was successful, one of the reasons why America uses so much cheese compared to other Western countries, one of the reasons why every kid in school gets like a carton of milk along with their meal is because of lobbying from the dairy industry to try to get the government to use up enough cheese to justify them continuing to buy cheese from dairy farmers.
Both selling our soybeans and in purchasing the inputs that are required to grow them, such as fertilizer, pesticides, seed, equipment. The aluminum and steel tariffs have a huge impact on the equipment we use as well. So this hits us on all sides.
Absolutely. I mean, farming is such a vital part of our...
It's just an objectively insane way of managing demand in a volatile industry. It's an insane way. It's psychotic. It's unbelievable.
Economy of just America's way of life. So, Caleb, some farmers now in the U.S. are turning to things like Airbnb or corn mazes.
Also, this farming is not the American way of life. Every country on earth has farming. Why do we accept this bullshit? America is the most advanced, wealthy country on the planet. Why are we talking about soybean farming like it's the American way of life? If anything, it's the Brazilian way of life. Why do we do this? Why do we keep infantilizing and glazing rural America like this? It's not, dude.
To try to outlast this downturn. Do you know any farmers who are doing this? Do you think that would be enough to really get farmers through this downturn? How long do you think that you and other farmers like you can sustain your livelihood if things stay like this?
Well, soybean farmers have a huge amount invested. An Airbnb is not going to help a farmer that's looking at losing $1 million or huge numbers. I mean, right now,
who the fuck would want to Airbnb out here? Like, who's looking to pay for an Airbnb out in southern Nebraska? This is our economy, man. It's just the way we try to solve these problems. It drives me absolutely mad.
Predicted soybean farmers can lose $200 or more per acre on this crop. A farmer like myself, we have 1,200 acres of soybeans. That's $240,000 of loss. That's a whole lot of Airbnb and other alternative forms of income. We have long-term investments that are made in infrastructure, in land, in equipment, and this is not an industry that you just enter and exit on a whim. We have huge long-term financial commitments, and we just need the markets.
Wouldn't it be so much simpler? I know this sounds communist, but wouldn't it be so much simpler if these land plots were divided up by the government, people chose to work there, and they were given flat wages by the government, pending assessment by inspectors who would check out, oh, my light turned off, pending inspections by inspectors who would check out their farm and their production and make sure they're not like just completely wasting their time, you know? Like here is your threshold. Your farm should be producing this many bushels of soybeans every harvesting season, you know? And if you're not, like, let's take a look at it or whatever. Wouldn't that be so much better? Wasn't that the USSR plan? Well, no, the USSR plan sucked from the start. Unfortunately, that literally happened in China during the Great Leap Forward, but for some reason, people just don't want to farm because farming just sucks. Yeah, but that's still a problem now. No, I agree. I agree. That's a problem, but that's still a problem right now. We're not fixing that under this system.
To be there. We have worked to develop the Chinese market as an industry for over 40 years, and it's been a wonderful relationship. We simply don't need artificial barriers put up. I also want to note soybeans are the #1 agriculture export for our country. This is huge for the economy of our country as a whole, and also for the rural communities that we represent.
Thank you for watching.
Oh my God. I think that farming would probably suck a lot less, though, if farmers knew they were getting a guaranteed paycheck and weren't like super anxious that one little fuck up was going to kill their entire like if it's just a bad harvest year or something. Like I feel like just a guaranteed coverage. Cuomo stare, yeah. Canada has this. You're always quick to tell me whenever Canada or Japan is doing something better than America. Masaigo, when was the last time you popped in with a link about like the genocide of the North American indigenous people or something, or talked about their schools or whatever? That's what I'm saying. Type shit. Everyone type shit. You'd have to be real careful with how it's managed because it'd be really easy for the quotas to be impossible to meet. Look, I really don't think it would be that difficult if you just had like a sane democratic country. The problem is that in America today and also in the Soviet Union, everyone in power is completely insane. That's the problem, right? Like you had party loyalists running these, people with no experience in the agriculture field. So in the Soviet Union, they had no idea what they were doing. They were like Senkoists, for God's sakes. And of course, today, right now in America, we're also in a similar boat. So, you know, I think most political and economic systems would fall apart if the people running them were completely pants on head insane. Like, I think that's true no matter what. I think you could design a really smart system, and then if you put the guy or guys in charge of it, and they were crazy, I think that you would also have problems. You can't really fix that, I think. You can't really solve around that. Didn't they specifically avoid using any modern farming techniques in the USSR? As a part of Lysenkoist thought in the USSR, they thought that, much like the proletariat, planted seeds worked communally and did not compete with each other for resources. So if you plant the seeds really, really close together, they would work together to form a strong collective root network rather than choking each other out of the nutrients. And then like 20 million people died of starvation or something. Type shit. That's not a joke. I know that sounds like a joke, but that's a real thing. That can't be real. I promise you that is real. That happened in China as well. They did that in China as well. Yeah. By the way, we're doing our own Lysenkoism right now. RFK and the CDC, we are 100% doing our own Lysenkoism right now. We absolutely are. A significant number of people in power over our medical industry right now, I don't think believe in germ theory. Like we are absolutely running through it again right now. Sounds like Nazis ignoring too much science because they thought it was a Jewish invention. Yeah, unfortunately, it turns out that conspiracism and far-right anti-empiricism tend to have some like overlapping tendencies, whether or not you're Nazis, you know? I mean, the Soviets also, like Stalin also believed in a Jewish plot to overthrow him in the Soviet Union. So, I mean, it was a popular belief at the time. He supported Israel in the 50s because he wanted to send all Jewish people away. Yeah, a lot of people supported Israel for that reason. I'll read up more on this in the future. Unfortunately, this is like, there are no pictures here, so I don't really... Oh, there's one. Bagged milk. Masaigo, what do you have to say about this? No, I want to hear a defense for this one. All I hear is Canada, Japan, Canada, Japan. I want to hear something about this, Masaigo. White name. I want to hear something about this. What do you have to say about bagged milk? Oh, those are cows. Bagged milk. I don't defend it. I grew up with carton milk in Japan. You avoided the trap, Masaigo. I thought you'd reflexively defend it. I thought you were too partisan. Partisan, not partisan. That's a different thing. The pronunciation matters. Type shit. Okay. Lock it in. Bagged milk is good, actually. Thank you. Canada's strongest. Been waiting for that one, huh? Hold on. How many messages do you have in chat? Damn, you've been here for a while. It's your day.